this time, we're kind of changing up a little bit and trying something different. I would like to introduce my dear friend, Ray Early. Oh no, we're giving him a microphone.
You know, I didn't realize that Ed was being inducted this evening. I want to take just a couple of moments. I knew Ed real well. He was a beautiful, beautiful man. He was the first one that I met when I joined this club. He came up to me, introduced himself, and I said, I will always remember your name. He's everything that you've ever heard anybody say. He was a hell of a good ball player. He played till he was 82. If I remember right, he played up to about the last day he passed away. And I'll tell you, when I first heard of his death, I cried. That's how much he meant to me. He was a great, great guy. Nice brother. I tell you, it's an honor for me to introduce our next Hall of Fame inductee. He was born in 1938 in Dresden, Tennessee. As a boy growing up in Tennessee, he learned to play baseball by playing Little League and American League baseball. As a result, he developed a true love for the game, a love that's with him to this day. And largely due to his father's influence, he became a huge, I mean a huge, St. Louis Cardinal baseball fan. In addition to baseball, he's also an avid golfer. After graduating from high school, he enrolled in Central Airline School in Kansas City. From there, he joined TWA at Midway Airport in Chicago. In 1959, when the Jets came into service, he transferred to O'Hare Field. 1961, he was drafted into the Army, completing his basic training at Fort Chaffee, Arkansas. 1961, he got the greetings letter. He was drafted into the Army. He completed his basic training at Fort Chaffee, Arkansas. Because of his airline training, he was able, or he was sent to, Cape Canaveral, with a special Army unit assigned to assist the Mercury space program. He was actually on the gantry crane the morning John Glenn first made his orbital flight. He remained at the Cape to the Scott Carpenter and Wallace Shaw flights as well. He finished his tour of duty in South Korea. In 1963, he returned to TWA at O'Hare Field in Chicago. He was working there in various positions in passenger service, including several years as a PR, handling VIPs and celebrities. If you were a movie star, a sports celebrity, or a VIP who flew TWA through O'Hare, you probably met our inductee. It was at O'Hare Field that an inductee met Sally, who was working for Air Canada at the time. They have been married now for 49 years. Have 2 children, 5 grandchildren, and 3 great-grandchildren. He played fast-pitch softball in the Chicago suburbs, coached Little League, and started and coached an adult women's softball team in the northwest suburb of Chicago called the Killer they are still in existence today. After a number of years with TWA, our inductee left the airline and along with his wife Sally, entered the real estate business in the Northwest Chicago area. In 1997, after 25 successful years in real estate, they took an early retirement, sold their home, and moved to Sun City West. Soon after moving, our inductee joined the Sun City West Softball Club. He's now been a member for 18 years. Our inductee joined the Sun City West Softball Club and served for 2 years on the Sun City West Softball Board, was purchasing agent for 3 years for both Sun City and Sun City West softball clubs. He also worked with Ken Skinner in raising money for the clubhouse at Liberty Field, was master of ceremonies at the Pancake Feed for 2 years at Bridgman Park. For 9 years, he managed several softball teams, 2 years in the National and 7 in America. He served in the Tin Cup Committee for several years and was master of ceremony for 3 of those years. Master of ceremony at the dedication of the new infield at Liberty Field, assisted in getting the public address announcement started at Liberty Field, and for the past 10 years, he's been public address announcer at Liberty Field, announcing American League games, hot flashes, women's softball games, and various weekends, tournaments, and special events. For each of the 18 years he has been a member of our softball club, he has volunteered his time in club functions and one form or another. But ladies and gentlemen, my great friend, Mr. Hugh Kelley.
Bob Williams thought he was the only home run machine that ever got in this thing, I think. I also knew Ed Sullivan. Ed was a great guy. It was very fond memories that, this all brought back tonight. And I was, honored to follow him up here. Ed taught me how to play third base, and you all know how well that worked out. I feel a little bit like Marvelous Marvin Cronberry when he told Casey Stengel, I don't know what the hell I'm doing here. But at the very least, this should give those of you that are challenged in the talent department great hope. I'm here. Ray has already told you more about me than you probably ever wanted to know. But before I get into this, I do want to thank Carol and her committee and all of you that nominated me for this great honor. I'm indebted, I'm humble, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I came here in 1997. A lot of things have changed since then. Some have not changed so much. The first guy I met was Steve Griswold. And at that time, Steve had not even turned 90 yet. Nancy Dobbins was a sophomore. The most interesting man in the world, Freddie Martin, he wouldn't have at least been interested. No. As a matter of fact, we think he was in witness protection. I've got several of these. For instance, in 1997, Joe Paluch and Carl O'Leary We're using gangbangers for target practice. Anyway, started out in the National League. Ozzie Ostrow was my first manager. He pretty well kept me out of trouble. And we had some good years there. After a couple of years, Ray Kelley drafted me in the American League. Everybody was pretty sure Ray was off his meds that day. He did wind up drafting John Bignani, who those of you who knew him then would agree that he was probably the greatest hitter we ever had here. He also had Louis Gay, who could run 100 miles an hour on that team. And there were some other guys that could really play. And the reason I mention this is that was the only time that we ever won the league in 18 years I've been around here. So we had some very good ball players on that team. After a couple of years in the American League, Lauren Swanson, some of you guys remember Lauren. Lauren was our computer before we had computers. Lauren knew everything there was to know about everybody, how they were rated, how they ought to be rated, and how they were probably going to be rated. So he came to me one day and he said, "Hugh would like you to manage a team." I said, "You know, Lauren," I said, "I'm not a very good player." He said, "Don't worry about that." He said, "Generally, the guys that are the worst players make pretty good managers." Well, all right, give it a shot. So anyway, I managed a couple of years, well under 500. And I'll never forget the first draft I came out of. Lemoyne says to me, "That was the worst draft I ever seen." And he was right, probably. I didn't have enough sense to argue with him because I think we won 4 games a year. Anyway, so I managed a couple of seasons, like I say, it was under 500. So Lloyd came to me one day, and he said, "Hugh," he said, "we might have underestimated your ability as a player." And he may have to think about that a little bit. Anyway, I did manage to, hang around and manage for about 7 years in the American League. And in those days, the managers rated the players in the way we drafted them. And then at the end of the year, we give them another rating. And that's pretty much how the players rank. And the guy who drafted first, he was a number 1. And I've got 3 I want to mention tonight. One of them is Eddie Everett. Eddie's played this year for over 20 years. He's played this league. He should probably be here tonight beside me. One of these years, I hope that is accomplished. Another guy who I think we all remember, a lot of us are indebted to him for starting a Monday, Friday softball league, or a golf league. And that's the late Floyd Carter. Floyd was a number 1 in a lot of respects, and he was definitely a number 1 ball player. The guy could play. But he had to leave all too early, about 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. So we missed Floyd Carter, along with the other guys that were mentioned here tonight. I've got one that's still playing. He best leadoff for Cranston Court. That's Dennis Razor. He was a number 1, in my opinion, back then. I got one more story I want to tell you how I get out of here. About 2001, I got the brilliant idea to run for the board. Okay? Jim McGuire, Dick Lemoyne, and myself all got elected. Pretty sure we ran on a poll because we all 3 got in. Anyway, the board is here. Skinner's the president, Lemoyne's the treasurer. And one day Lemoyne comes up with this brilliant idea that we can sell advertising on the outfield fence and build this new elaborate clubhouse. I'm thinking, are you kidding me? Now, let me get this straight. We're going to sell advertising for $2,000 to $3,000 a sheet out there. And we're going to build a clubhouse that costs $250,000. I mean, we got a budget of about $9 grand. Anyway, Lemoyne, Skadowski, and a few other smooth talkers, they go to the rec board and they convince these guys that we can do this. Next thing you know, Lemoyne walks in one day with a check from Liberty Buick for $50,000. And the rest is history. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you get a pavilion named after you. It also gave a lot of luck and a lifetime job counting our money. That $150,000 infield was a piece of cake after that. So after a couple of broken fingers and a hamstring or toe, I managed to play for about 15 years. I want to thank Wayne Mitchell, who had a big hand in that. He drafted me 2 or 3 times, well past my expiration date. You probably all agree. Guys, it's been a great fun. It's been a lot of fun. It's been 18 years, probably, you know, some of the best 18 years of my life. It's also the fastest 18 years of my life. I greatly appreciate this opportunity to say thanks to all of the greatest guys and gals in the world for letting me hang around and do a little announcing. Mostly just hanging around. I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and God bless every one of you.